Hey guys, welcome back to the magical world of bookwords. My name is Renuka and welcome back to yet another bookish video. Today's video is a book haul of the most anticipated books of the books that I wanted since a long time and I was dying to have them. They have been on my cart in my wish list since a long time and I finally have them. I can't believe that these copies are in front of me and I can touch them and I can feel them and I finally have the paperbacks of these books on my bookshelf. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Before I show you all the books that I have purchased, let me mention that I have purchased all these books from a website called Bindass Books. I came to know about this website through an Instagram ad. They have a huge collection of books and there is a spring summer sale going on their website where you can find a lot of bestsellers, popular books and expensive books at a much cheaper price. I got all these copies in a range of 159, 169, 179. One or two books might be more than that, but maximum number of books were in the sale in this price range. The service of the website too is quite good. My parcel was delivered in around 8 business days, and it is clearly mentioned on the website that you will get your parcel within 3 to 7 business days. The end date for the sale is not mentioned on the website, so I'll link their website in the description. You can go check out if the sale is still going on. You can make a purchase if there is a book from your TBR or your wish list and that's a part of the sale. You can definitely make a purchase, and I'm sure even after the sale ends, I am going to be a loyal customer of Bindass Books henceforth. The first book is The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. I have partially listened to this as an audiobook and the experience was so good that I wanted the reading experience, so I was waiting to buy the paperback version of this. The writing style of the book is beautiful. It is extremely descriptive, but it creates an amazing atmosphere for you. As far as I know, this is the story of Nella, who delivers poison to other women, to the women who want to kill the men who have tortured or tormented them. And she delivers the poisons that are so well sneaked into the lifestyle of the men that no one is ever able to discover who the culprit is. That's the speciality of Nella. She has inherited this apothecary from her mother, but her mother was not into poison making. This was Nella's own invention. The plot of the book is quite dark and that makes it a thriller, and I'm a sucker for thrillers, so I'm soon going to read it and let you know how this one went for me. The next book on the list is an extremely popular book, Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was dying to buy this one. How many of you do not know about this book? How many book lovers or how many readers are out there who have never heard about this book? I'm sure there's no one. This book is everywhere, be it BookTube, be it Bookstagram. This book is everywhere. And this thing was making me crazy that everyone is reading this book and I am not able to read it, but now I finally have it. As far as the blurb is concerned, this is the story of a band that came into existence in the olden times, in the olden times, how it came into existence, how their journey was. And the unique part about this book is that it is written in a question answer, in an interview format. So it consists of dialogues, it consists of conversations, and the entire book is written in the same way. So it goes like a drama. Without any stage directions, of course. So the format of the book is quite unique. Apart from that, the name Taylor Jenkins Reid is enough to attract me towards any book. Her writing style is to die for. She has one of the best writing styles that I've ever come across. It is extremely engaging. So I'm dying to read this book. I'll read it soon and I'll let you know how it went. The next one is a series by an extremely popular and wonderful Japanese author, Toshikazu Kawaguchi. The first book of the series is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. The second one is Tales from the Cafe. And third one is Before Your Memory Fades. The first two books take place in the Cafe Funicula and this third one takes place in Cafe Donna. However, both these cafes have one thing in common, and that is they can make their customers travel back or forth in time. The rules for time traveling are extremely strict, and that is the reason many people do not want to go for it. But some people have strong emotions and strong motives in order to travel back or forth in time, and that is what we read about. I have listened to the first book as an audiobook on Storytel, and I cannot tell you what this book means to me. It is one of the most beautiful books that I've ever come across. This book is pure emotions, and it is very difficult to make me cry. But if you are emotional, you need to have a box of tissues besides you when you read this book. But I too was quite emotional when I was listening to this book. It is wonderfully written, and I have not read or listened to the other two parts, but I'll be reading them soon and getting back to you about how they went, and I'm sure they are going to be wonderful. The next book is about an extremely popular, extremely loved author, and I don't know what to say about him because Murakami is someone who you cannot describe in words, right? The book that I'm talking about is Sputnik Sweetheart. The only other book that I have read by Haruki Murakami is Men Without Women, which is a collection of short stories, which is not as crazy as his other books are. That's what I have heard. But it gave me an idea of what Murakami is and what he can do. And I have gotten an idea that he is one of the best authors that I have ever known. As far as the blurb says, this is a story of Sumire, a young girl who's in love with a woman 17 years older than her. On the other hand, her best friend K, who's a guy, is in love with Sumire. So that forms a very nice love triangle, but things become ugly, things change when Sumire suddenly disappears and Mew comes to know about her, Mew, whom Sumire is in love with. This is the blurb, but I'm sure that this is much more than that because you cannot sum up Murakami in a blurb. That's what I have come to know. So I'm extremely excited to read this. The next one is a Greek mythological fiction, that is Cersei by Madeline Miller. This too was on my TBR and in my wish list since I don't know when, and I was dying to buy it, and I finally have it. I don't know what to say. As far as I know, this is a story of Cersei, who is born in a divine household, the House of Titans, but she doesn't have the powers. That is the reason she leaves her family. She is in isolation, and that is when things begin to change. That's what I know. As far as I know, this book has made many people crazy for Madeline Miller, her writing style and her books. And I'm sure this is going to be an amazing experience. I know that it is not as easy to get into the writing style of Madeline Miller, but I'm going to try my level best, and I'm sure that is going to be an extremely enjoyable experience. The next book again is a Greek mythological fiction, extremely popular, another book by Madeline Miller, and I think you must have guessed it by now, The Song of Achilles. If you have read this book, you know what it is. I have partially listened to this book again on Storytel, and I think I have dropped more audiobooks than I have listened to, than I have completed, but that's fine. When I was listening to this book, I realized that I need the reading experience. I desperately need the reading experience of this book, and that is the reason I stopped listening to the audiobook and I was waiting to purchase a paperback one. Madeline Miller's writing style again is extremely beautiful. This is the story of Achilles and Patroclus, two extremely popular characters from Greek mythology. This book describes their love and their friendship. That's what I can say. But as far as I know and as far as I anticipate, I will be needing the aid of the audiobooks since the names and the pronunciations of some words from this book can be extremely difficult. I am going to take the aid, but I'm extremely excited to dive into it. The next book again needs no introduction. However, I'll be giving it 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak. As far as I know, this book is extremely difficult to read, to comprehend and to get into. But if you manage that, it is going to be an amazing experience. So that's what I need to find out by reading this book. This is a story of a lonely woman who has a family of her own. In spite of that, she feels lonely. She comes across a manuscript of the 13th century poets, Sufi poets Rumi and Shams of Tabriz, and that's what changes her life forever. This book is going to be life-changing for me. That's what I anticipate and I hope, and I'll get back to you about it pretty soon. The next book is the biggest trend of 2022 and also 23. I have already read this book as a borrowed copy from one of my students, and I'm extremely thankful to her, to Swamini, for lending me that book, because that book gave me an experience that I would never be able to put into words, and it is by Colleen Hoover. It Ends With Us. I finally own a copy of It Ends With Us. I have it in my hands and I cannot believe it. It's a beautiful, gorgeous, to die for book. This is the story of Lily and Ryle. Lily meets Ryle at a very random point of time in her life. Lily is a florist. She is an aspiring florist. She soon becomes one. She falls in love with Ryle. She gets married to him. But things start changing when her boyfriend from her past comes into her present. Lily had saved Atlas Corrigan at the age of 17, and now Atlas is back in Lily's life to save her. If you have read this book, you know what I mean, and if you haven't, there is a problem that needs to be corrected. You need to go and read it. The first few pages of the book are definitely fluffy romance. If you love it, well and good. If you don't, just stick to it, and you will realize that there are some emotions inside you that you have never experienced, never realized, never thought about, but they do exist, and you'll start feeling them. Just read the trigger warnings before you start reading the book, and please go for it only if you are above 16. That's it. Apart from that, this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful book. You need to interpret a few things, but it is wonderful. The next book on the list is by Frederick Backman, and that is Anxious People. Finally, I have a copy of Anxious People. I wanted to get it since such a long time. From whatever I know and whatever the blurb says, this is a story of a robber, an amateur robber, who goes in for robbing a cashless bank. I mean, can anything in the world be as silly as that? However, this robbery goes wrong, but this is a book full of a lot of life lessons. This book is supposedly a feel-good book, and Frederick Backman's writing style, from whatever I know and from whatever I have read, is wonderful. It keeps you hooked, it is extremely engaging, and it makes you smile, it makes you cry, and again it makes you feel a lot of emotions that you would never have felt if you would never have read Frederick Backman's work. The next book again is by Colleen Hoover, one of the most popular books written by her, and I have again read it as a borrowed copy, and I wanted a copy of my own. A thriller, a gripping, creepy thriller, and that is Verity. If you have read this book, you know what I'm talking about. If you are like me, if you are a Verity lover, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, this is a story of Lewin, who is hired in order to finish an unfinished book series written by the author Verity. She is approached by Verity's husband, and he requests Lewin to come and complete the unfinished book series. Lewin visits Verity's home to get her research work, to get her earlier work, and also to get familiar with the settings. And Verity cannot complete that book series because she is absolutely paralyzed after an accident that she met with. Lewin does come to Verity's house, but things start getting ugly once she enters Verity's house. This book is extremely creepy. I wasn't able to read it at night. Believe me, there's nothing scary, there's no horror element. In spite of that, it is creepy. You just feel like someone is watching you, and that feeling is thoroughly creepy. But once you complete reading this book will mess up your mind, and once you reach the end of this book, you will be forced to comprehend the entire story once again. And I'm the sort of a person who likes to read mystery, thriller sort of books again and again, in spite of having unveiled the mystery. So I'm going to read Verity again because the end has messed up my mind. I was not able to get this book out of my head for the next 3 to 4 days, and I was just thinking, what did just happen? If you have read Verity, and if Verity messed up with your mind, Verity messed your mind up, do let me know in the comment section. And if you haven't, and if you are a thriller lover, you need to pick this book as soon as possible. But again, you need to read this book only if you're 16 plus, and please read the trigger warnings before you pick this book up. Finally, the last book of the haul, and the book that I was the most excited about, the book that I was dying to buy since I don't know when, since ever. And I have already listened to it as an audiobook, and this book has become an eternal part of my life. Evelyn Hugo has become an eternal part of my life. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid was on my bookshelf since a long time. Once you have read this book, you cannot get Evelyn Hugo out of your head. She is there with you no matter what, and she is one of the best characters that I have ever come across. This is a story of Evelyn Hugo who wants to become a Hollywood actress. She is an aspiring Bollywood actress. She is extremely beautiful. She is seductive. She turns heads like hell, and she can do anything in order to achieve what she wants. But before you judge Evelyn Hugo by the fact that she has married seven people, she has married 7 times, please make sure that you read this book till the very end, because things are not as easy or as simple or as superficial as they seem to be. There is much that has already taken place. Evelyn Hugo had a troubled childhood. She did not have anything easily, and that is the reason she was how she was. This is a fictitious character, but you will forget the fact that this is a fictitious character. You'll start believing in it. No matter whether you like her, love her, hate her, you'll never be able to forget her. Believe me when I say it. I already have a dedicated video about the audiobook experience that I had with this book. If you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. I'll link it in the description or in the I button. But believe me, you need to read this book before you die. This is a book that you have to read once in a lifetime, but again, only if you're above 16. If you're not, wait till you are 16 and then pick this book up, because you'll be able to understand this book and comprehend it only when you have reached a certain level of maturity, only when you have gained a certain amount of understanding. It is extremely essential to understand this book very well. But if you're above 16 and if you haven't read this book, go pick it up immediately, or else you're missing out on something extremely beautiful. So yeah, that's it. Those were all the 13 books that I purchased. All these 13 books together costed me 2,138 rupees. I think the shipping was free. This is the cost of only these books. They give free shipping above a certain amount that I am not able to remember right now, but you can check it out anytime on their website. I'll make sure that I link the website down in the description box. Please go check it out. And if you're a book lover, if you are a reader, you must check the website out. They have got pretty collection of books, and I'm sure I'm going to be a loyal customer of Bindass Books henceforth. Thank you for watching the video till the end. Do let me know what are your recent book purchases, or what are the purchases that you want to make in future. Thank you for watching the video till the end, and you know the drill. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, and help me spread a lot of bookish love.